Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Dream Big with Zhanna, inspiring you to reignite, refire, and refuel your life. And today, I have the pleasure to introduce to you this amazing, beautiful soul that you can see on the screen if you're here on Hummingbird Academy Today page or watching us on YouTube on Zhanna Shpits, the Dream Big with Zhanna / Sandra, because this beautiful lady here is her name is Sandra Winter. And regardless of the last name, which usually brings the cold memories, well, I was born in Russia. She is not only a warm, she is like a not only a warm personality person, she is the love itself. And the love is always hot. It's like, so Sandra, that's who you are for me. So well, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you. And also I want to introduce you officially for everybody who sees you for the first time. Let me read a few lines from your official bio. So Sandra Winter gets hired and loves to assist women to take a quantum leap and land on their feet. I love the way it just sounds. They like take a quantum leap and land on their feet. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today, by the way. So she is on a mission to help 1 million women to be the change they want to see by getting clear on what's possible and allowing it to unfold for them. Whether dealing with a dead end job or an unhappy relationship or a body that doesn't seem to be working the way you'd like, Sandra is going to take care of that. So she is an interfaith minister, singer-songwriter, sound healing practitioner, and intuitive angelic miracle healer, and enjoys giving transformational talks and assist others have the life they desire and deserve. And just like I said, I mean, it's just a small fragment, a fraction of what she does and the capacity of this beautiful soul. But on a personal level, I told you, every time you see, you can probably feel it right now. She radiates love out of her. So we want Sandra to dig into your story, like what, because you have a great combination: a minister, a singer songwriter, the angel readings, sound healing. Have you been gifted with all of that from the very beginning, and you kind of discovered that, and that's been your path always, or how did that all start?
Ah, well, it definitely has been a road with a lot of twists and turns. But, well, I would just like for you and your audience to imagine for a minute that, I am 3 years old, and my brother, who's 5 years older than me, because we were so young, we were sleeping in the same room, and I am with my brother, and I'm awakened by a sound in the next room, and I come from my sleep, and it turns out it's my parents fighting, and I'm scared. I don't know what's happening. I just hear raised voices. I hear my father shouting. I hear my mother crying, and the next thing I know, I hear the door slam. My father leaves, and my mother cries herself to sleep. And my brother is trying to comfort me, and eventually we managed to go back to sleep. And
Is it the older brother or younger?
Yeah, an older brother. He's about 5 years older than me. Mm-hmm. And so the next morning I wake up, and my mom explains, as best she can, that my dad and she, aren't happy together anymore. It's got nothing to do with me and my brother, but they've decided that my father needs to leave. Well, like a lot of children do, I blamed myself for that, and I think that what started me on my journey most of all was this desire to like make life easier for my mom. I wanted to like be the smartest kid, the best kid. I wanted to if I had a magic wand, I wanted to wave my magic wand and make things wonderful for my mom and my brother. And, so from a young age, I was singing. My mother told me that I was singing from very, very small. So in some ways, I think I was born with these gifts, but like a lot of us, it's taken some time to develop them. But I think that, that was certainly a big turning point for me, because of course, as I grew older and started to understand what had happened between my parents and the pain that it caused me and my family, I really wanted to use my gifts, and to serve other people. And so I started developing music, and I started developing from the music. I became interested in what is it about sound and music that is healing to people. So I started studying sound healing. And from there, I became a minister, which was really not out of a desire to like necessarily preach to people, but because out of my own curiosity about spirituality. Mm-hmm. Even though my family was not religious, I always had a sense of the spirit around me. I would ride my bike out into nature and spend time in nature. And I always felt the presence of the divine. And especially like when I was singing, that was always for me like a direct sense of connection to the divine. I'm sorry.
Can you tell more? So ever since you were a little girl, you would go, you would ride the bike into the nature,
yes,
and then you would start singing. Were you writing your own songs? Because you write your own songs right now. Were you writing your own songs when you were connecting with nature?
No, what I was doing, and I still do this today. I would just vocalize. I would improvise. I wasn't even putting things into words. I was just singing, creating melodies, and it didn't have any words, but I would just ooh or ah or whatever would come to me. I didn't even start writing songs with words until much later in my life. It's kind of interesting when I think about that. But as a sound healer, it makes sense because, in sound healing, you don't usually use words. It's about the frequency. It's about the vibration.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Interesting. So you intuitively started doing that. And when you're saying that you were feeling the presence of the divine, you probably didn't have those words, right? You didn't know what it was, but what were you feeling? Was it the angels? Because right now you work with angels too. Was it angel specific, or how would you describe that feeling? Because it's really, really, I'm always fascinated by the first moment. How do people know that they are connected and they are never alone?
Well, for me at that time, I didn't even start going to church until I was about 12 years old. A friend of my brother's invited me. So I think I had a grandparent who had given me a Bible, which I started reading when I was very young. And mostly the Bible scared me. The Old Testament stories about this angry God, I didn't understand that. So I guess you could say that my connection with God, with the divine, was truly organic. You know, I didn't understand the angels as such, but now, in fact, what they have told me is that they have always been with me. It's just that, you know, and I honestly, I believe that's true of all of us. We just don't always perceive that's what we're experiencing. So I would say that no, I didn't have a sense of the angels, but now they have confirmed that they were there. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. So, in the moments when you were in nature, like going back to what you said, when you would start singing, and you said that when you sing, you feel the direct connection with the divine. Um, have you ever felt alone, or you always felt that presence? Like, did you have the knowing inside of you that you are actually never alone? Like, you're always connected, you are protected, there's somebody or something out there that is taking care of you. Has it always been like that for you?
No. You know, I would say like most other human beings, you know, I have had my moments when I have felt alone. And I can, you know, I did not always experience that divine connection. You know, I think that what happens to a lot of us, well, I truly believe that before we're born, that's all that we know. And when we're born, things happen to us and we forget. And then different other things happen that sort of tap us on the shoulder and give us that opportunity to remember again. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people will not respond to that and will say no and never connect. And sometimes we will reconnect and say, oh my gosh, you know, this was here for me all along. Excuse me, getting over a cold. Mm-hmm. This was here for me all along. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what happened to me. I had a lot of experiences as a child that I didn't know how to articulate it, but I knew with all my being that I was connecting to the divine with my voice. And for me, it was almost like my voice, my singing was like my way of saying thank you. You know, it was like my offering. It was my way of saying, I acknowledge you. Thank you. I want to connect to you. And honestly, that's been something I have always felt. I've always felt that way.
Is it possible for us to experience your beautiful voice right now? Maybe just one verse of a song that you've been singing since you were a little child, or maybe anything that you're willing to share with us right now. It could be your song, your original song, or it doesn't have to be.
Well, there's actually, this was the first song that I wrote that I put words to. At least that I wrote down anyway. And it's fairly recent in terms of my life story, but I feel like it represents, you know, like the core of what I believe. So it's called Heart's Lullaby.
Oh, I love it.
And it goes like this. Time will come and time will go, but love will never leave. It lives within the heart and soul and never goes to sleep. Seasons follow seasons. The heart knows the way. It follows universal plans and never goes astray. When it's dark and you're alone, here on earth it's often hard to see. So be true and close your eyes. The angels lie beside you as you dream. So I'll open up my heart. I'm ready to receive the love beyond all space and time will set my spirit free.
Oh, thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you. So your voice. I mean, it is the direct connection. It's so genuine and so beautiful. It just uh, I feel right now what is happening, like I have goosebumps on my body, and I'm wrapped in this beautiful blanket of love. That's how I feel. Thank you for this heart's lullaby. Thank
Mm,
you. Really
thank
beautiful.
you.
So, yeah, oh my goodness. Now, question, what is your biggest vision for yourself? What is this big dream? Because the program is called Dream Big, inspiring you to reignite, refire, and refuel your life for people. I mean, first of all, the question is, what is it for you after you've been through the journey? Like we all are, but everybody has their own. So, what is that vision? And then there's another question that will follow after.
Well, as you read a little bit from my bio, I really am on a mission to empower a million women, connect to a million women or more.
Mhm.
And because I really feel that when we empower people to connect to their own dreams, we help to transform the energy on the planet. And with all that's going on in the world right now, I think that the more strong women we have, the more women who are standing up, um, the better that life will become for everyone. And I don't, obviously, I realize that there are men who are looking for that empowerment as well. But for me, um for the energy of the planet to shift, I feel that the women who have been kind of pushed down in a lot of societies around the world for so long, we just need to stand up, and then things will become back in balance naturally. I
Mhm.
think we're already seeing that happen. But my big dream is to assist as many women as possible. My goal is 1 million. Um, and to help transform their lives so they can realize their own dreams. I think most of us women are nurturers by nature. And so when we have a dream for ourselves, it naturally flows out and connects to other people, you know. So I see that as like my mission. Um, and using the tools that I have, I know that I can impact and empower a lot of women to make the changes that they want to make in their lives. So I'm very excited about that,
Yeah,
and very, very eager to see that happen.
yeah. I want to ask you, like, what do you consider? You talk about the gifts, and I just want to dig deep. What for you? What do you think is your strength? Like the biggest gift that you have, or you have many. So, what is it that you consider to be the number one gift?
Hmm. Well, I mean, I would say I've been given by my experiences I've been given a big heart, you know. I think that when we go through different experiences in life, we can either become bitter, or we can choose compassion for ourselves and for other people. And, you know, at a certain point, I think, you know, actually when I was 3, you know, that moment when I was 3, that's when I chose compassion. And it's a, you know, it's an ongoing choice.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, I would say that's my biggest strength, because I think that the things that we see happening in the world, again, they constantly are challenging us. Are you going to stay open? Are you going to continue to share your gifts with the world? Or are you going to give up and because you're tired, or because you've been hurt, or you've been rejected, or whatever? But I think that the angels have given me a big heart, and they're saying they want me to expand it to include 1,000,000 women
Yes,
or more.
yes, yes, or more, just like you said, or more. And I want people to know that I personally have experienced the angel reading and the sound healing, and it's just absolutely out of this world experience, really. You are just, I don't know how you do that, but it you get the messages from the angels, you get it in a very special way from you, and I mean channeled through you, right? It's still the angels, but channeled through you. But when you add the sounds to that, it creates a complete, it opens another door. This was just my experience from your work with other people. Is there any other like specific maybe person you were working? You don't have to give names, but something like when you saw a complete transformation and what the transformation was about, something that you really knew that you just opened that person up for the miracle, or you co-created the miracle in that moment.
Ah, well, one experience that I had with a client was that she was going through a very difficult time with a family member. And in addition, you know, at the time that she was having this difficulty, she could not find the keys to a lockbox that had some important papers. And and even though in the reading, the angels did not tell her exactly where the papers, where the keys were. They just reassured her that the keys were there, that she was going to find them, but she had to deal with the situation with the family member.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was a huge release from this session with her. And when I checked back with her later, she said that, number one, the situation with the brother, while he was still being the way that he was, her attitude toward him had been transformed. And in addition, the keys came to her in a very interesting way. Um, and honestly, I'm trying to remember, this was a while ago. I don't remember exactly how the keys came, but the interesting thing for me was that it came after she did the healing work in this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so often that is the case. I mean, it's like we have a block in one area, so it's kind of like spirit says, okay, so we're going to hold your keys hostage until you pay attention and take care of this other thing over here that you don't want to deal with. And that was the experience with her.
Wow, that's an incredible story. But I just want to share with people. Thank you, Sandra, for doing that. Sandra has a gift for all of us. If you guys would like to have a miniature, I think it's a 15-minute session, angel reading session with Sandra, and you would like to experience it, it's a gift from her. her. It's completely complimentary so that you can get the taste of her work and get the messages from the angels. It's in the description. You can connect with Sandra through the website, sandrawintermusic.com, sandrawintermusic.com, or you can get direct, like, to go straight through the link, which is in the description. It's kind of long, so you guys have to just read it. It's underneath this video, either here on Hummingbird Academy Today page, or if you're watching us on YouTube, it's in the description right here. Also, if it's you are on Zhanna Shpits and Zhanna/Sandra, then you'll find it. So thank you, Sandra, for doing that. Another question that I have for you, I'm asking everybody, all guests on the show, what would be, if you had only, 1 minute, 2 minutes to share this one gem out of your treasure chest of things that you've collected from your experience in this physical existence in this life, what would that be? What would you share with our audience? What would you tell them?
The biggest thing, like I discovered on my own journey, like I came to realize somewhat later in life that I was always surrounded by divine love. That's the message I'd like to convey. No matter what is going on outside of you, the truth is that divine support is always available. None of us are ever completely alone. No matter what we may feel like, no matter what our minds may be telling us, no matter what the circumstances may appear to be, none of us is ever completely alone. The resources are literally right in front of us. It's just a question of knowing how to ask and trusting that they are actually there. And that is what I'd like to communicate. No matter what it looks like, you always have resources. Sometimes you just have to get quiet long enough to realize that is so. And then whatever resources, whatever help you need, when you go within and ask for that help, you start to see things coming to you. But often when we're scared, we may not be able to know that because our minds are too busy trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. So the most important thing is to allow yourself to get quiet long enough for the angels to tap you on the shoulder.
Oh, that's a beautiful message. And I think you're teaching people how to do it, right? How to communicate with your angels, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. Because for me, it's not enough to give someone an angel reading and have them feel better for 5 minutes. For me, the most important thing, and this is what they've told me to do as part of this empowerment process, to let people know how to do it for themselves. That's always been important to me.
Mm-hmm. And so you were saying, Sandra, so that we understand, anybody can establish that connection if the desire is here, if the person is curious, if he or she can do it for that, like, start communicating and getting the messages in the way they understand them. Is it possible, even if they've never done it before?
Absolutely. The thing to realize is that often the messages may be subtle. That's why it's important to be quiet, within yourself, to be centered. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, with me, they communicate through sound, but for some people, they may communicate in a more visual way. Mm-hmm. They may come in the form of another person bringing a message for you from them. The way I first got started was through journaling. But, like they say, some people are more kinesthetic, more feeling oriented. Some people are more auditory or visual. The angels will communicate with people according to their own communication style, your own communication style. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So So never feel like you're supposed to be expecting, I don't know, to hear angels singing or to see light, or it doesn't have to be in that way. They will come in the way, in the language, in the communication style that works with you.
It's not always like a grand party with it could
Exactly.
be just a little tiny coffee meeting, right? Or tea. Oh my goodness, I can't get enough of you. You just spreading you. I feel I'm very kinesthetic, if you can tell. I don't know, but I just feel love. It just being in your presence is enough for me. So yeah, it's been a pleasure to be with you here. Lots of surprises are coming up for you guys because we're not letting Sandra go without demonstrating and experiencing and feeling her work. So maybe just a little bit of the sound healing session, maybe a little bit of the angel reading, so that we can witness your process. But we're gonna we just keep an eye on it. So you'll see that it's coming up, and just be on the lookout for the announcements of the program. And as for now, Sandra, I just want to say thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you for being the light in the world the way you are. You just if if the whole world has more people, has more you of your energy, we're gonna change the vibration like that. So
Thank you so much. It was an honor to be here, and thank you for inviting me. It's my pleasure.
thank you, thank you. So, guys, just before we close up, you're watching Dream Big with Zhanna, inspiring you to reignite, refire, and refuel your life. If you like what you see, if it resonates with you, if you have questions, comments, anything else for Sandra or myself, please comment below this video on the Facebook Hummingbird Academy Today page, or share this video so that we can spread more love and more compassion and more knowledge to people, that they are never alone, and introduce Sandra's work to them so she could be a channel for their peace also. Or you can do it through YouTube channel. Doesn't matter. If you can connect with Sandra here on Facebook by private messaging her, or you can do it by going to her website, sandrawintermusic.com. Take use, I mean, really use the gift that she's offering, this miniature session. It's a 15-minute angel reading session, but you'll be surprised how many messages your angels are going to communicate to you through Sandra. So just get the taste of it. And meanwhile, we want to wish you lots of love, lots of compassion, lots of joy. And again, Sandra, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
on the show today. Thank you.